Welcome to the Kova Bay Kaidons dynasty. This is their story.
Again, I just want to tell you how grateful I am that you're even allowing me to cover what really happened at Kova Bay College.
There's a lot that happened with that team, both on the field and off the field.
Coach, this is a big opportunity for us to bring in NIL money, though.
Well, that's not going to happen because I'm a man of integrity, and you knew that before you hired me.
It won't be easy, but I'll do my best to tell the full story. And I'll let the people react how they choose to react.
2 home wins in a row? I bet you the athletic director and the board were happy to see that. But from my research, I understand that there was some type of tension going on between him and possibly the athletic director or the school board. What was that about?
Well, I've never told anybody this. You'll be the first one, but I don't think people understand exactly what Coach Blueson was dealing with behind the scenes.
Wait, just calm down and think for a second. Kova Bay College is a nature conservatory school, and you want to accept funds from a company that builds data centers? You don't even see the irony in that. I don't care if he's an alumni.
Listen, Coach, this is a big opportunity for us to bring in NIL money, though.
Well, that's not going to happen because I'm a man of integrity, and you knew that before you hired me.
Coach, well, that's the way it is right now.
Well, you being the athletic director, you better fix the way it is right now.
A few weeks have passed, so now it's time to check in on the Kova Bay Kaidons recruiting rumor mill. Again, we're going to look at some recruits here, but remember, as stated at the very beginning of his hire, Coach Blueson stated that his goal was to build through the portal. His high school classes are going to be very slim. Again, they don't have a big budget here at Kova Bay. They are a small school, but they do have a little bit to work with if they manage this budget properly. Now, Coach Blueson says he wants to get around 20 plus transfer portal guys, so he only has room for about 10 to 12 high school recruits, so he is selective. As we look at Justin Croson, a wide receiver who's interested, D'Angelo Willies, a defensive back. They will be losing Butler this year, remember, who's leading the team in interceptions. He is a senior, so of course they're looking to rebuild there. Malachi Aldridge could solve a problem for Kova Bay that they're having, which is in the trenches. They're getting bullied, especially in the run game. Now, David Tam, 3-star wide receiver. He's the only 3-star wide receiver, the only 3-star player in general who Coach Blueson is targeting. Coach Blueson compared him to a Tyler Lockett type of player. He's 5'9", 160, but he's got good speed, good acceleration. He believes that immediately David Tam could come in and help them with the special teams and then blossom into something special as a wide receiver, as well as Demario Dubose is also being looked at, the wide receiver out of Nevada. Now, the running back situation for Kova Bay is pretty solid right now with Kalani Maui. They have Capo, they have Seals, but Jamal Stout is getting a look from the recruiting as well. Bobby Stevens is another running back who's also getting looked at here. Again, Coach Blueson has sent out his scouts to try to find guys to fill in for weaknesses, but also some projects. And Kiaris Murphy is the definition of a project when it comes to the quarterback position. He's a dual threat quarterback out of Colorado. His stats and his physicality is not going to blow you out of the water, but from what I've been told, the scouts have been very impressed with his decision making. He could possibly be a quarterback who maybe develops into the same thing that Kova Bay has right now with Jamichael Irving and being a solid backup. I know that's something that a high schooler doesn't want to hear, but as a 2-star, you kind of have to work with that. Now, Jeremy Ferris is also a quarterback that they're looking at, as is Clayton Hills. But in the meantime, Kova Bay Kaidons have a football game to play. We will keep you updated on the recruiting rumors as the season goes on. And we are underway here in Oregon as Kova Bay looks to keep their winning streak alive. Kalani Maui gonna go ahead and take a knee. Ben Schooler last week was a lot more active at that tight end position. Let's see if Jalen Neeson looks to him today early on. But early on to start the drive, they go to Seals, nothing much there. Still haven't got this running game going in Coach Blueson's Flogo offense. However, Neeson says, who needs to run when we can pass like that? That is the backup tight end boss on the reception here. Seals up the middle, finally sees a little bit of daylight. Again, this offensive line has been struggling a little bit as well, but you expect that from such a small school. Neeson's going to fake it, keep it, and get nothing now. Big 3rd down and 5 here. Still trying to get Aiden Seals involved. He's a very multifaceted running back who's dangerous out of the backfield as well. Doesn't do anything great, but he's solid in all areas. Neeson instead goes to Matlock across the middle. Matlock has been their #1 wide receiver, might be their most dangerous weapon on offense. They go to Seals again. Seals getting physical in the trenches, dragging a defender for, they say, a gain of 3. Looked like he might have picked up more than that. Refs say 3. Capo now on a little RPO swing pass. That is a signature type of play from Coach Blueson's Flogo offense. 1st down and 10 here. Oregon State is 0-3, but they are a bigger school in one of the power conferences, so don't let the record fool us here today, as Matlock's going to settle underneath. 2 catches so far in the drive for Matlock. They try to keep it on the ground. Seals looking for something but finds nothing. Again, this offensive line is just having a little bit of problems trying to run block with this Flogo offense. This Flogo offense is unique in terms of how they try to run the ball, and Neeson gets drilled on a little dump off. They got to go for a field goal, and my God, the kick is way off. And look out in the front row, media members, whoever's sitting over there, because that ball is headed right to you. 1st down and 10, Oregon State. Malik Murphy now out of the gun, strike over the middle. Coach Blueson has been questioned a little bit about why the soft zone defenses. He's saying he has to go with what he feels like he can go with in terms of his personnel and their physical abilities. In other words, what he's saying is he's not sure if his guys can hang on one-on-one, man-to-man against some of the speed. But we'll see if he has to adapt to that and give his secondary a chance to prove him wrong, as Crank, big time hit, but Murphy bounces off of it. Stop short though, 3rd down and 5. They're going to go with the RPO up the middle. Big hit right there, but he breaks it. Nice job by McMillan there to keep his legs moving. Broken tackle results in a 1st down. Oregon State keeps the drive going. They're going to keep it on the ground as well. Nothing there. I believe that is Robbins on the tackle. 2nd down and 12 now. Kova Bay's got to be careful because Malik Murphy can keep it with his legs as well. Flag on the play. We'll see what the penalty is, but a big time throw across the middle, and it's looking like it's going to be holding on Kova Bay's defense is the call. That is the team captain, Jeff Crank, the middle linebacker, getting called for holding on the play. Murphy going to hand it off. McMillan underneath, nothing much. See if Kova Bay can get a stop in the red zone. They actually have been fairly strong in the red zone this year, but big hole at the middle. Collapsed quickly by the linebacker. 3rd and 6 now as this 1st quarter quickly coming to an end. And they will not get a playoff to end the 1st quarter. Oregon State, Kaidons, 0-0. Yep. Not much going on in this game. Not much action, but don't fall asleep on us yet because Oregon State is knocking at the door. Malik Murphy, similar to what Dampier did for Utah earlier, he has the ability to run with his legs as well. So let's see how Kova Bay plays it on 3rd and 6. Murphy back to pass. Delivers and overthrows his man. Looked like he wanted to run, and at the last second saw his wide receiver open, but he did not plant his feet, and that might have been enough for an inaccurate throw. Jalen Neeson in this offense back out here. 1st drive of the 2nd quarter for them. Neeson's going to make his changes at the line. He's very comfortable doing that. Again, Coach Blueson gives him the green light to do that. He is back to pass. Going to find the senior Abbott, who gets down wisely across the middle to save his health. 2nd down and 6 now. Again, two safeties up top. Nielsen sees something there, is going to make an adjustment. And he's going to just keep it underneath. That is Schooler, the tight end. They're going to say he's short. Some questionable markings by the referees. 3rd down and inches now. Capo up the middle, breaks to the outside. Nasty move back to the inside. That is Capo. Again, you got a 3-headed monster back there. Seals, Capo, and Kalani Maui. That time, Capo lines up in the fullback position, gets the fullback dive, and turns it into something here. And big time hit. Nielsen throws the ball to the linebacker off the hit there. No time to pass. And I can't be too mad at Nielsen there, but an interception due to the pressure that came in. Let's see if Oregon State can capitalize off of it. Nielsen has been getting hit back there. He's coughed the ball up on a couple of fumbles, has done a good job of not throwing too many interceptions this year, but he's going to throw in there, and Malik Murphy goes underneath for a few. Now it's a 3rd down and 3. Let's see what Oregon State has. They motion a man out the backfield, and they settle off for a nice little hitch underneath for the 1st down. Malik Murphy, again, transferred to Oregon State a few years ago, I believe, from Duke, and is trying to get his feet underneath him here with this program. Hasn't reached his full potential, but great run up the middle. Hasn't reached his full potential, but he has all the physical abilities to do something, so don't sleep on Oregon State this year. Despite their record, they could figure it out and make a late run, but a big-time hit right there by Sam Robbins. That will be a sack for Kova Bay. Backs him up to a 2nd down and 16. Malik Murphy hasn't used his legs too much yet, but if he's getting pressure like that, look for him to start doing that. 2nd down and 16. Underneath, beautiful pass from Murphy to lead him towards the pylon away from the safety. Excellent touch right there on the pass from Murphy. And now Kova Bay getting threatened in the red zone, barely crosses the goal line there and drops the ball, but of course he did catch it. And they're going to go back now to Kova Bay on offense as Seals gets a little option pitch. Jalen Nielsen in this offense haven't really got anything going so far. It's 2nd down and 5. They're going to go back to Capo, who makes a nice move back to the inside. Had a big gain on that same play last drive. They go right back to it. 3rd down and inches now. Let's see what Kova Bay draws up here. Oregon State crowding the box. They're going to keep it up the middle. That is Aiden Seals seeing the light of day for a nice gain. Now, 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. If Kova Bay manages this correctly, they definitely want to make sure that this is the last drive of the half. And there is Cole, the redshirt freshman, underneath. Nielsen hasn't taken too many shots down the field. He's been content taking what the defense gives him underneath. Nielsen now deflected, and another interception. Just when we said he's been content, he tries to force it there, and off the deflection, Oregon State forces another turnover. Jalen Nielsen with 2 interceptions in the first half. Big hit right there from Killebrew, who came on the outside blitz. Jalen Nielsen, the first interception you can kind of forgive. He was hit as he threw, but that second one was all him. He forced it into a crowded area in the middle of the field as Murphy misses behind his wide receiver. But the interception could go unanswered here if Kova Bay's defense bites down and gets a stop here. 3rd down and 9. Running back in motion. He's going to go back to the outside now. Murphy using his legs, getting out there, dumps it off underneath and stopped just shy of the 1st down. So the interception does not result in any points. Kova Bay still has 2 timeouts left with 1 minute and 22 on the clock. Jalen Nielsen looking for some redemption. Steps up into the pocket, has a lane to run, takes it, slides down. Again, he's not necessarily a running quarterback, but he's definitely athletic enough with his feet to do damage. Now, 2nd down and 2, screen pass. There is Capo, who has been busy out of the backfield receiving the ball. Gets a nice gain there as now we are underneath a minute here. Jalen Nielsen looking to get Kova Bay on the board before the half ends. 1st and 10. Nielsen using his legs again. Just has to get rid of it there. Nice coverage from Oregon State. 2nd down and 10 now. Keep an eye here on Matlock. He has been the go-to wide receiver so far Nielsen using his legs, going up top. Another interception. This time, will he be caught? He runs into his own teammate. Luckily, that possibly prevented a pick six, but Jalen Nielsen, after earning the starting job as the backup a few weeks ago, has now thrown 3 interceptions in the first half. We'll see how patient Coach Blueson is with him as Murphy finds his back underneath for a first down. Timeout Oregon State, but man, oh man, Jalen Nielsen worked so hard to get the starting job and is now possibly throwing it away here, and almost an interception. Kova Bay's defense almost returned the favor there with an interception of their own. Thompson cannot hang on to it. I think he was a little bit surprised that the ball was even heading that way, saw it at the last second. Murphy now gets stuffed by Jeff Crank in this defense, trying to hold strong. They've done a good job holding tight, having to be on the field a lot more than they need to because of the turnovers here. And Malik Murphy all day to throw. He's gonna throw it over the middle, and Jeff Crank, the team captain, cannot hang on to it. They settle for a field goal. Jalen Nielsen, after these interceptions during halftime, he needs to go say thank you to this defense, because the defense has prevented these interceptions into turning into something worse than what they could be. They've gotten a couple stops in the red zone on Oregon State, so Kova Bay's defense trying to help Jalen Nielsen out, but eventually he's going to have to step it up himself. First down and 15. They're going to keep it on the ground. Seals picks up a nice gain. Oregon State playing back. Kova Bay still had 2 timeouts, so they used one there. Content to go underneath. As long as they play off that much, they're going to go Seals again. Seals to the outside, picks up a chunk. They're going to take another timeout here. They have a chance to throw it up here. I don't know if Jalen Nielsen has the arm. We'll see what they do here with 2 seconds left. Nielsen is just going to dump it off. They try to set up a little screen, but Oregon State smartly crowds the line of scrimmage in an ugly offensive first half for the Kova Bay Kaidons. Their defense deserves a pat on the back. They've been playing hard, but the offense has not helped in any way. Jalen Nielsen, 3 interceptions in the first half. Let's see if he cleans it up here to start the second half. But first, we will see Kova Bay's defense looking to see if they can continue their hot streak that they had in the first half of clamping down against Oregon State. As Murphy now in the empty gun formation, man in motion. Murphy trying to draw them off sides. Kova Bay not biting so far. He gets the snap off. Underneath, again, soft zones. And if you're going to play soft zones, you better get some pressure on that quarterback. If not, he will have all day to throw and will just be content with picking you apart. That's what the quarterbacks have done so far against Kova Bay's defense. Here is Hurley looking to come from a defensive back blitz, and he converts. Nice job from Hurley closing off the edge there. Murphy now in a little bunch formation. Handoff to the running back, had a lane, closed up nicely. Another 3rd and 6, a chance for Kova Bay's defense to get off the field here. They've been very good on 3rd downs so far. Murphy trying to use his legs, and he gets stuffed on the sack. That is Corliss, the defensive tackle, coming up big. We just talked about if you're going to play those zones, you better get some pressure on the quarterback, and they do there as Hurley nothing on the punt return. Kova Bay's defense is definitely giving Kova Bay a chance to hang in there and possibly compete with Oregon State here and pull off a big win, but it's going to depend on Jalen Nielsen and his offense as Cole gets the catch there on 1st down. Nielsen, see how he responds. He's had a game earlier this year where he threw a couple interceptions and he responded beautifully. Does he have that same response in him today? They keep it on the ground. Seals takes a big shot. No blocking at all there, and now this is the situation you don't want a quarterback who's already thrown 3 interceptions to be in, and that is a 3rd down and 10. Abbott in motion. They fake to him. He goes up top. Matlock got his hands on it but cannot come down with it. Can't be mad at the shot there. Man-to-man coverage. The blitz came. Matlock is an excellent wide receiver in one-on-one situations. Give him a chance to do something special. Even though he couldn't there, do not stop doing that when you get the opportunity. As Murphy goes underneath to the tight end now. Oregon State working on a 2nd and 6 running back on the flats. Big hit from Ty Hurley, who's getting some early minutes here. 3rd down and 4. Does Kova Bay's defense have another chance, or have another stop in them, I should say, on this 3rd down chance? 3rd and 4. They faked a little sweep. Big time hit right at the 1st down marker, but it is a broken tackle. He spins out of it. Oregon State keeps the chains moving here as the 3rd quarter slowly coming to an end. Nothing up the middle. Kova Bay's defense, if anything else, they are fighting. Even with these soft zones, they are swarming to the ball. Malik Murphy hasn't damaged them with his feet yet. Crank was in a great spot to break on the ball, just didn't take the chance there. 3rd down and short. Let's see what Oregon State draws up, man, in motion. And they are going to do a little misdirection, and that's enough for a big hole to open up. 1st down and 10. Nice play call from Oregon State. Kova Bay now trying to defend this play action. Murphy spinning out. Does he have the speed to get to the edge? He does not. Great job right there. I believe that was Brownlee showing his speed, cutting off Murphy. 2nd down and 8. They go to the outside again. Nothing on the outside run. Guess what? Another 3rd down and 10 opportunity for Kova Bay to get a stop here. 3rd down, and they bring the heat. That is Newcomb, the speedster outside linebacker, who comes in, and Oregon State cannot convert with a field goal. Kova Bay deep in their own territory, but they have the ball back. The freshman there, Cole, little jet sweep, gets 2. Let's see if they get another snap off before the 3rd quarter. They should. And they do. 2nd down and 8. They get it out to Seals. Seals does a nice job tiptoeing out of bounds to pick up a couple more. And 13-0. An old school defensive grudge match here, as neither team is getting anything going on the running game. Not too much going on the passing game either. The difference is Oregon State has taken care of the ball on offense. Kova Bay has not. Jalen Nielsen again has thrown 3 interceptions. They go option on the 3rd and 3 there and lose 4. Oregon State will get the ball back. Kova Bay's offense cannot get anything going. I don't even know if they've made it past midfield more than 1 time so far this game. Malik Murphy, they've kept his legs in check, but there he sneaks for a nice little gain of, they're going to say, 6 on the play. They go toss to the outside, and beautiful blocking right there. And Hudson cannot take him down. Broken tackle. Butler cannot make the shoelace tackle. Touchdown, Oregon State. I mean, can you blame this defense? They've been on the field so much. So many 3-and-outs from Kova Bay or stall drives. So many turnovers that the defense, I'm sure, has to be getting tired. And look what we have here. Jamichael Irving, the senior quarterback, is in for Jalen Nielsen. He was benched earlier in the season. Now he has come in for some relief duty to see what he can do, in a great pass right there over the top to Cole. Jamichael Irving getting a 2nd shot. He is a senior, so you like to see a senior try to get a 2nd shot at redeeming himself and getting his starting job back, as he goes up top again. That is Abbott, who's got room to run, tries to make a move, great open field tackle, but just like that, Jamichael Irving has done something that Nielsen can't, which is get this offense into a nice position to score here. At the very least, they should get a field goal. Irving, trying to use his legs, cannot get to the outside wisely, throws the ball away there. 2nd down and 10 now. And they're going to go pass to the outside. That is Capo making a nice cut. And that's a 6-yard gain. Jamichael Irving's got this team moving deep inside Oregon State territory. Can he capitalize off of it? Seals big run. Questionable call right there. They call 1st and goal. Looks like he might have been short, but we're not complaining. 1st and goal. Screen pass set up. That is Capo. And he gets in, and look at that drive right there from the senior. Jamichael Irving comes in, leads them down the field, and makes it look easy. Jalen Nielsen sweating a little bit on the sideline, saying, uh-oh, is my starting job in trouble? Kevin Capo has been excellent receiving out of the backfield today, and they keep going to him. And wait a minute, they say The extra point, no good. It slips to the left. So Kova Bay only gets 6 and not 7 with their touchdown drive here. That could come back to haunt them in this comeback attempt. Here comes the defense though. Clock working against them, 5 minutes left. And they're gonna go fake. Malik Murphy got a little bit too excited there, had a man overthrew him. 3rd and 8. Big third down, the biggest third down of the game. Little formation shift now from Oregon State as Murphy is in the gun by himself. Empty set. And he's going to go ahead and look to throw it. They dump it off. Nice job by Hurley to get there on that play. Beautiful job. Knocks the ball loose. And here comes Jamichael Irving out there with a little pep in his step, saying here's a chance to really fight for his starting job back. He's going to fake it on 1st and 10. And there you see his ability with his legs. Oh, hit as he throws, and he almost threw an interception himself. And that one, without a doubt, would have been taken back for a touchdown. They're going to fake it here. Irving gets the toss out. Kalani fighting forward for a nice gain. 3rd down and 4 here. They hurry to the line of scrimmage. Irving got the boys back up to the line of scrimmage, back to pass again. Tries to run it, but Kalani Maui cannot get out of the way. 4th and 3 now, deep inside their own territory, but the clock is not on their side. They're going to go ahead and go for it here, and it looks like Oregon State. No, maybe Kova Bay there took a timeout. I'm not sure who took the timeout there. I thought Kova Bay took one earlier. Maybe they did. Swing pass to the outside, and look at this terrible blocking. Terrible blocking as they just stood there as if they didn't know that Jamichael Irving had already hiked the ball. Not the true freshman, the redshirt freshman there with nothing. And on the first play, they go with a deep out route touchdown. That's going to be the icing on the cake unless some miracle can happen here. Jamichael Irving will get a chance though to pull off a senior miracle. Let's see what he's got here with 4 minutes, 2 timeouts left. Back in the gun. And dangerous pass right there. Threads the needle to Matlock. Matlock, another catch. 2nd down and 5. Irving back to pass. Pressure comes. Fumble on the play. Kova Bay retains possession. Irving and Nielsen have both been getting lit up there in the backfield. Irving now finds Schooler. 4th down and 6 though. Let's see what they do here. This could be the ball game and the last possible chance for Kova Bay to actually put some points on the board and make the score look a little bit more competitive. They go underneath. Freshman Cole with a great catch turns it up. 5 catches for 49 yards for him. Jamichael Irving keeps the drive alive here. Clock is ticking though. 1st and 10. Irving again using his legs. Goes up top, deep pass. That's the senior to senior connection. Irving finds the senior Abbott for a huge gain. Jamichael Irving got the offense moving. He's going to get outside the pocket again. Go up top to Abbott. Great defense right there. Probably a decent thing though. It stops the clock on top of the 2-minute warning here. Jamichael Irving, he's going to make his adjustments at the line. As Schooler goes in motion here. Kalani Maui stays in the backfield to block. He goes up top. Schooler, tight end, gets the pylon for the touchdown. And Jamichael Irving, another touchdown leading drive, finds the tight end. That is Ben Schooler. Great job to get a piece of that pylon. And this time, the kick is good. 14-point game. They need this onside kick. Oh no, they don't get it. And almost return Landry. The head knocker on kickoff return, or I'm sorry, kickoff coverage. Big hit right there, possibly saved a touchdown as well. 1st and 10 now for Oregon State. They're gonna fake the quarterback draw. Great decision right there from Malik Murphy as he finds his tight end for a gain of 7 here. Kova Bay is gonna lose today, but especially after that 1st down, but could another quarterback controversy be brewing here again? Neeson was banged up a little bit, threw for 3 interceptions as well. Irving came in, played well, leading to 2 touchdown drives. Is that enough for him to have a chance, at least this week, to compete for the starting job back? Or is coach gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna stick with Neeson a little bit, as Malik Murphy we see go for 186, 2 touchdowns. It's gonna be an interesting week. We'll see how Coach Blueson handles it in the media. As Jermichael Irving, 9 for 14, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns. Neeson, 13 for 19, 80 yards, and 3 interceptions. The running game, Seals had 11 carries for 50 yards. For limited carries, he did okay. Cole with 5 catches, 49 yards. Capel with 5 catches out of the backfield for a touchdown. Matlock was finally held in check, only 4 catches for 14 yards. Kesey's going to lead the way with tackles. Actually, Killebrew is going to lead the way with total tackles. Jeff Crank, the team captain, was right there with 8 tackles and a tackle for a loss himself. But again, the quarterback situation, as we look at the season stats, Neeson, 867 yards, 8 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Irving, 539 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception. Some say they didn't have much patience for Irving, as we see Seals about 380 yards and 3 touchdowns. Capo and Kalani Maui also around 80 yards. John Matlock has had a great year though. No matter who's been at quarterback, he has, I believe that's 28 catches for 2 touchdowns. Abbott, the senior, when he's caught the ball, has been explosive plays, and now Ben Schooler, the tight end, is starting to get involved, as well as Jeff Crank, the captain, leading the team in total tackles. Again, this change that has been made with, I believe it is now Thompson at safety. Killebrew has now come in and played good at defensive back. When you look at that Oregon State game, it wasn't too bad, but there are definitely some changes to be made.
So now people are back to doubting his quarterback decisions, and now the NIL drama. How did he handle all this?
Well, at this point, he really had to bite down and fight through, because it wasn't going to get any easier after this week. That's for sure.